how's it going? It's Grant.
And Shelby.
And today we're going to be talking about taking photography of your shrimp, fish, other aquarium objects and stuff like that. So just want to start off, we're definitely not professional photographers. We might sell some photos here and there, mostly trade them for product and stuff like that. But like if you want to consider it, we do get some type of pay for photos. So you could say we're like semi-pro, all right? But a lot of the credibility that we have for our pictures that we've been posting lately have to go to Mo Devlin, who came and did a talk for our club not that long ago, just last year. And he really upped our level, our skill level, opened up our eyes to a few things that we weren't doing, and it made our life a lot easier. Can you grab the light before I forget?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a couple things that we were already doing before Mo came to do the talk, and then a lot of what he did here at the house was help us with the DSLR. Now, all of the photos that I've posted on Instagram so far or our Facebook in the recent few past months have all been with our cell phone. I had an S22 Ultra. Now we have an S23 Ultra, and Shelby uses an S21 Ultra, which we're about to upgrade to the S24 just came out. So we definitely use Androids here, but there is some advantages that I've noticed with iPhones over Android. But for the most part, I like Androids a little bit more when taking macro photography when you're trying to shoot smaller objects. So,
Boots and Cat said, "Ooh, I like that green shrimp in the thumbnail. That one is really cool. It was actually like a minty color, and then it matured into a green, which is surprising."
So even though Mo spent a lot of time with us, teaching us with the DSLR, there's a lot of things that he opened up my eyes with the phone. And for us, the phone is just a lot easier, especially with shrimp. Mainly because I'll be walking by a tank and that shrimp will be out in front, standing at attention, nice and sideways, ready to be photographed. But by the time I go and get the camera body, put on the extension lens, put on the lens cap and the hood, and then get back out to maybe grab the tripod, but get to the tank to take the photo, the shrimp's kind of moved and it's not in the right spot, and it's harder to get that shot. Where the cell phone, it's in your pocket 90% of the time, and I keep one of these easy enough, and it's a lot quicker than putting together a whole camera body. This is just a camera light, and we put it on top of the aquariums, and that's the main lighting that we've been using for taking photos and even the videos that we've been shooting.
Jacob said, "I have a Canon T5i. How will this work for aquarium photography?"
So that's like more of a specific question. I'm going to get more into cameras and stuff like that, but a lot of the different cameras, if you're going to pull it up, I don't know if that's a body that you have to add on.
Yeah, so you would have to get a
macro lens.
Yes.
And we recommend a 105 millimeter lens, and that's going to help zoom in and get the nostril hairs of the shrimp, the full scope of the eye, and not just like a blurry black pupil looking shrimp. So that's key.
Abstract wants to know, are we going to start taking photos of ice cream for fun?
No, but we might do some videos if we get some
too
time.
Fast.
Yeah, I forget to take ice cream photos of some of the ice cream sometimes that we go and travel around. So, all right, now let's stay with this and just keep questions on board. For the easier shots, we use the photography from our phones, but to get a nicer shot, if we wanted to, we definitely want to focus on a DSLR and trying to take more professional grade photography that way. But we're going to do the bulk of this talk just for the average photographer, not somebody that wants to spend a couple $1,000s on lenses and stuff like that. So for the most part, if you have a phone that's, within the last 6 years, you're going to be able to take pretty decent quality pictures. We used to have an S10, which would have been comparable to like the iPhone X, that still took really great photos. I actually preferred that over Shelby's S21, just because every year they come out with a new set of cameras, and they don't always think about shrimp as being like a focus when they're trying to put these lenses together. So like Shelby's camera is definitely better on that phone for taking just overall video and like group shots and outdoor photography and stuff like that, where the S10 was just a lot easier to get a good focus, and you didn't even need as much light exposure to get a good solid focus shot. So different phones, different brands and stuff like that, they're going to take slightly different method to get used to it to take a better shot. But even when my phone broke and I had to go back to Shelby's phone, it took some adjustments. But throughout the different models, if you stay with the same brand, it's fairly easy to, pick it up the differences and be able to take good shots moving through the different phones. But of course, the newer the phone, the better the camera should be. And let's just hope that it works with shrimp in mind as well. Any chance that it works out better for us. So far, the S23. God dang it. Bobby. I'm fumbling the bag. That definitely fumbled the bag there. But so far, this phone is definitely way better than my phone, which is better than Shelby's phone. So at least with the Galaxy models, they've been a lot better and improving with each generation. So I do think the Ultra has slightly better specs with the camera, as well as more memory. And having more memory, more room to take photos and videos is definitely something we think about when purchasing our phones. But after you get the device or whatever you're going to be shooting with, the most important thing that's going to improve your picture quality right away is going to be water changes. I know that sounds super simple, but it really is the difference between getting that shot or getting something that you're just not quite happy with. For us, we go through and scrape the fronts of the aquariums. If it's a tank where the water is a little bit cloudy, we'll go ahead and give the filters a good rinse. But make sure you do both of those before you do the water change. So that way, when you do take the water out, you're taking all the pollution in the water, all the contaminants, and you're making that water quality even better than it was before. The other thing is, the larger the water change, the better, of course. But I do find that sometimes it is better to take photos the day after you do a water change rather than the day you do the water change. Sometimes the water just gets a little bit cloudy from pouring the water back in or scraping everything, and it gives time for all the particulates that you weren't able to vacuum out time to settle and not disturb your shot. So the other thing is when you're filling up water right away, it creates a lot of little micro bubbles on the tank. So you will have to scrape the tank again, even after you've done your water change, to get rid of those. So it is like a two-part method, but getting rid of all of those micro bubbles is definitely going to help when getting your focus, because every now and then the camera will want to focus on the micro bubbles instead of the fish or shrimp, snail, whatever you're trying to get your focus on. Anything on topic so far?
Have you gotten to glare yet?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But it's right now. If you want to bring it up, maybe I'll answer it that way.
Yeah. Not that one. Sorry. Cora said, Jenna or Geek Boy gave me the advice of setting the phone tripod up with a curtain or blanket to block out any external light, like lay across the tank and then over the camera to reduce glare.
Yeah, so that's also similar to a hood. If you ever see like the cameras where it has the lens and then there's another big part on the front of the camera, it's called a hood. You can usually buy I'm sorry, a cheap hood for the cell phones that clip on with like a macro lens for the phones, but draping a black curtain or something like that over you would definitely help that out. For us, to remove glare, I do not like being confined and stuff on me at all. So I'd rather not be working with a hood or a drape or something over the top of me. So what we do is we turn off all the other lights except for the aquarium that we're trying to shoot in. Um, for us, we'll turn off all the other house lights, all the racks, everything we possibly can. Some racks we can't turn off the above and bottom tanks, but if you can, definitely do that. Any and all light that is not in the tank is going to take away from the focus of the picture. So even if you're doing everything right, the glare could still be taking away from the quality of your shot. So, turning off all the lights, also shooting at nighttime is going to be a big help because then you don't have to worry about the sun coming through the windows. That's a big reason why we chose to do our live streams at nighttime instead of during the day. It's just simply because the sun coming through this window right here, it would just be blinding us, and the glare would be quite bad with the tanks behind us showing through. So, definitely shooting at night is going to be your best bet. If I were to want to shoot on, say, these tanks behind us, blocking out this light from the camera is definitely something you're also going to want to do. I like these lights with lids because they can sit right on top of the tank and there isn't any gap or light that shines through the top that's going to create any glare on the lens of the camera. So you got to think about the glare on the tank itself as well as the glare on the lens of the camera. So both of those need to be thought about when taking photos. Also, you want to make sure that you're right on parallel with the glass as much as you can or square to it as possible. So that way you're not getting any protrusion light from any other angles as well. So that's also going to give you the best shot through the glass. So you're not going through any of the iron in the actual glass. Another thing is low iron tanks. They sell Starfire and other. I can't remember the other ones right now, but there is other high quality low iron glass that you can buy. I think Mo Devlin has a little tiny tank, no bigger than this. It's thin. I think only the front of the tank is Starfire, and the tank was still like $400. It's expensive. It's got to be strong enough that it's not going to break holding up water, but still it's super clear, so that way you can get the best quality photos possible. The tanks that you get from Petco, I think, are like 10% iron. That's why when you look at the sides of the tank, it's like a green coloration to it. It's not clear. Anything else? All right, so that will be it for glare. Then even after you've gone through and done your water change, turned off all the lights, I still recommend getting like a little microcloth or something like that that you can go through and just scrub the surface of the tank that you're taking a picture of. Fingerprint smudges, water residue, anything like that can take focus off the camera and ruin the shot. You'll never be amazed how often the shrimp will be perfect or the fish will be right there. You get the camera ready, and all of a sudden the fish swims to that one spot that you didn't scrape the glass, or there's a smudge on the front, or there's a piece of rubble that it just swam behind, and the shot's ruined. So, if possible, take care of all of those before the shot so you're not having to worry about that. Water stains are a little bit of a pain, but we found that if you just take some RO water and a microcloth and kind of scrub it, it kind of smears it out, and then you take another microcloth and dry it, and it really cleans up the glass. Doesn't leave any streaks and doesn't scratch up the glass at all.
Geek Boy says acrylic is also better at letting light through and contains no iron.
Yeah, acrylic's great. It's hard to keep the front of it clean without scratching it up, and then you have to buff it out. It's better than glass in the sense that you can buff it out, but it's a little annoying to try and clean without scratching it. The glass, you're able to use a razor blade, and it's so much easier to clean. Anything else? No? All right, so then we do lights. I like to use the aquarium lights on the tanks. I find out that illuminating the entire tank definitely helps with shooting shrimp, fish as well. I know that the flash on the front of your camera is not going to help you out because it's going to shine right off the tank right back into the lens of the camera, and it's going to blur your image. But there are professional flashes that you can put on top of the aquariums. Mo even goes as far as putting them on the sides of the tank as well, so that way it shines the both sides and top of the fish itself, and it really gets all the angles in full focus of the fish. But it's not a need. None of the photos that we've posted recently have had any of the flash. All we use are these Godox lights. They're super powerful. They're a little bit expensive. They're just over $100, but that's the last time I'll do that. Blinds myself. I've probably blinded you guys. It's super bright and brings out the entire shrimp and puts it into focus. So I highly recommend these lights. They do get hot, so you don't want to run them continuously and just try and wait for the shrimp or fish or whatever you're working with to come into focus. There are cubes and other, high-end LED lights. This one shoots up to 8,500 K and K lumens, and we use the lights to go collecting and stuff like that, and our headlamp is only 1,200 lumens. So this is even brighter than that. Just it's nice that this is a rechargeable battery. It's not going to last as long as my headlamp will, but these things are great. I rarely ever use two of them. One is generally good enough. The only time I really use two is if the shrimp isn't working with me and isn't near the front of the glass, and I'm taking a shrimp picture where it's on like a plant or some type of scenery scape in the back where I really want the entire tank to be lit up a little bit better. Other than that, one of these it's probably been the best investment that we've used or paid for last year. I think it was $120. Shelby, you ordered them. Is that what we paid for it? Maybe 140 tops.
Like 140.
But we've definitely gotten our money back. If you want to think about all the attention that it brought to our cheetahs and to our tangerine tigers and stuff like that, it's paying for itself because we're able to take better photos of our stock. I know our website still looks horrible and horrendous on some of the shrimp photos. We will get to that, I promise. We're almost over the hill on all this chaos. I'll talk about that more as well with the insurance company, but this has been a great escape to get away from all that stress and just take some photos. And there's nothing like taking photos where you're getting a lot of good ones, and this light has made that 1,000 times more possible. Like, I'm not even joking how much this light has helped taking the focus of the shrimp, because it's not easy. They're quick. It's very hard to get the nose, the eyes, and the body of the shrimp in focus. It's like impossible on the camera phones to get the eyes, the nose, the body, and the tail. So don't get deterred if you can't get the focus of the tail and everything in the picture. I'm happy with like half of the shrimp being in like extreme good focus and the other half being a little blurry. It's also like super hard if the shrimp isn't perfectly sideways. That's another thing you really got to worry about. But if you can't afford this, just try and find the highest possible lumen LED light that you can that fits your budget. I think there was a cube that Mo recommended that might have been a little bit cheaper than these. They are a little bit smaller. So this one kind of covers and goes across the entire 10-gallon tank. So I don't really have to move it. And whatever shrimp is on the front of the glass is going to be the perfect subject for us to focus at any time. You got anything for me? All right. Besides that light, though, I do still keep the lights on top of the tank on. The more light, the better. I do like the full spectrum LED lights. It kind of gives, that full glow on top of the shrimp. If you do use the, just straight white LEDs like this as well, the brighter you go, the more washed out the shrimp kind of gets. And I will talk about that a little bit more as well. But you're going to want a little bit of color on there, especially for like your purples, your iridescence and stuff like that. It just really reflects off of the shrimp itself and takes for better photos. But you don't want it not to have that iridescence if it's not actually there. So that was a huge link.
It didn't work. Yeah.
What's that for?
That was for the light.
Oh.
I don't know why it's that long. I'll just type it.
Because it's through Facebook. It's a link instead of going to the website.
No, that was just through my messages. That's through Amazon.
All right. So, yeah, that's the best, brightest LED light, full spectrum that you can possibly get. And I don't worry about any of the lights in front of the tank trying to flash by. Not with shrimp keeping, just because, or fish, just because of the glare on the front of the aquariums, just really messes it up. So then we will talk about cameras, the Androids versus iPhone war. I don't really want to get into it on what's better. I have plenty of friends that have iPhones out while we're collecting and while we're trying to take shots during the day, shots at night. Little tiny pygmy killies and stuff like that. They're not the easiest fish to photography to photograph with. So what ends up happening is I do find that the Androids take better macro shots as long as you have good enough light. The iPhones have taken better photos at dark nighttime, and they just don't show as much detail though overall with their photos. So if you get the right light with the Android, I do think overall the people that shoot with the Androids produce a little bit nicer photos. So if you do a lot of nighttime collecting, the iPhone comes in handy. I do think Mark gets like nicer shots of the alligator and stuff like that, just because they don't need as much light exposure to take those good shots.
Coro said bare bottom tanks with a flash on the underside.
So yeah, you can do that as well. We have found that like a light underneath the tank though really stresses out and freaks out the fish or shrimp especially. So you might lose a lot of color that way. So I don't really recommend it, but it might not be that bad.
Shady Grady says, what lumen setting do you use the light at? The full 8500?
Yeah, I've had like accidents where the light bumper on the side has reduced it to like 8200, and I just wasn't happy with the quality of that picture. Realized, then gone back and tried to take the shots over again and got better shots. So I definitely recommend it having on full blast. It also has the ability to change the colors on it too. So I haven't found a reason to do that though. There was like some yellowish or green shrimp that might be a little bit brighter color of those hues, but
I would say the zebra ghost beads. That's because it's a clear.
Yeah,
I always turn down the lighting on my phone in order to get the actual color of the shrimp. So it would be ideal for some shrimp better, but realistically, it wouldn't.
So even for the ghost bead that we have on this thumbnail that we posted today, the lights were on full blast, but I did have the
It's not white,
exposure turned down on. No,
On
these
the
were
phone?
light. These were white.
The shrimp itself doesn't have white.
Oh,
White reflects
okay.
really, really crazy.
Yeah.
So like I know that when taking photos of any fish or shrimp that is white, a lot of times you do have to turn down the exposure either on your phone or external lights to get the correct color of it. Otherwise, it's just kind of like blinding back at you. So
And then, like that's my whole thing. I prefer the Androids when taking shrimp photos. That's just me. It's easier to work with. We've been using one since I was a kid, and it's all fairly been, you know, copy and print with small upgrades that you're able to figure out with each upgraded phone. So, you want to do that one?
Crafty Crab, welcome in, says, any ideas on how to get a small scratch out of the glass on the front of an aquarium? I wouldn't know anything. I know you could fix superficial scratches, but like as far as taking a camera shot through it, you will see that still. It's like that would just the only thing you could do is to repair it so as if you were to worry about it being like cracking or anything, but it wouldn't be to make it look nice. I know some people say, but if you zoomed into it, it would still show you like it's a silicone or something that you put in it.
Asking how to repair a scratch, and it's just impossible with glass. You cannot do it. You'd have to replace the entire glass piece. So then you have the body cameras, mostly the Nikon versus Canon, the DSLRs. There is Sony. Sony has like really good autofocus for like going around and doing tour videos and stuff like that. However, I don't think it's good for taking shrimp photos. Might be all right for taking fish photos and stuff like that. But I'm really happy with our Nikon. Mo shoots with Nikon. I know Chris Lukop uses a Canon, but it really doesn't matter. They're both rivaling companies. I think Canon might be a little bit user friendly with its interfaces from the actual camera to the computer. Where Nikon, I think you get away with a little bit more accessories, but I could be completely wrong on that, and that was backwards. It's been so long since we shopped for cameras, but I do think we got the most bang for our buck for Nikon, and that's why we went with that instead of the Canon when we were shopping around. We have a Nikon D500. We have a lens extension as well as a 105 milliliter lens. Then we use a UV filter, and lens cap, and a rubber hood, so that way it doesn't scratch the glass of the front of the aquarium. And then these Godox lights, if we're really getting crazy. But 99% of the time, we're just using our photos to take the shots that you see and post online. So the main reason why we don't get the DSLR out more is because it takes so long that the shrimp usually moves. Like I mentioned before, we also got these big dogs that run around and possibly knock over the tripod with just their tail. So it's not something like we like to keep out. It's always put away, stashed away, so we don't have to worry about it getting broken. But we need to bring it out more. It would be cool if we had a studio.
It would. I can also bring it out to show. Geek Boy said my biggest complaint of the cell phone cameras is not being able to adjust aperture. Yes, that is a little bit of a problem, but with the macro lens that we use, I struggle with aperture too with the smaller because it's still you have to really know how to use a camera to do that. These are things we're talking about is what people can use every day and still get good photos for their business, where a lot of people can't afford Nikon cameras and things like that. Like we've been in that position, and these are just quick tips and tricks on how to do that with your normal phone so people can get their businesses and small businesses off the ground, just taking photos of their fish and making it a little bit more professional. I know we don't have much room to talk because we don't upload those pictures on our website, but we at least get it on Facebook.
The whole reason why we're doing this is because a lot of you have been giving us praise for how well the photos have been coming out lately. And I've been getting a couple questions every day on tips and tricks on what to do for them to take better photos. And I thought just doing a live stream and just going through our methods, what we use, and everything is, going to help somebody out. But if you take anything away from this today, it's get a better light for the top of your aquarium. We used to use a couple of the brightest LED aquarium lights that we had in the house, and I thought those were bright. This is a whole nother ball game. It's like taking all of the Denarly LED lights that we have in the entire house and using them at once. And we don't have enough outlets to do that. It's a lot of big bulky plugs. Back to me. All right. So then we have the range, the depth of a focus and stuff like that. It's really hard to take photos, close-up shots, where the shrimp isn't right up on front of the glass. You really have like 1 inch of depth of field on the phones in order to get the nose hairs of the shrimp. You can get good photos of the shrimp in the middle of the tank, but like that's not going to be nearly as good high quality, as much attention to detail as you get when the shrimp is right up on the front of the glass. So having this many aquariums, just being in the mood to take photos, having your light ready and your phone already open to photo, you're able to just jump in there and get a good photo of a shrimp that's on front of the glass. If you don't have a lot of tanks and you're just working with the one or whatever, using a piece of food or something like that can lure them out. But I'll talk more about why that's a good and bad thing later. But you really want to try and get that shrimp right up on the front of the glass as close as possible. And then, of course, your lens or camera is not going to be able to go right on the glass. You're going to have to find that sweet spot to get the best focus, and it's really going to be small adjustments and small wiggles is going to take the entire shrimp out of focus. The other thing is the shrimp is a little scavenger. They're little feisty little things. They're on the move. They're constantly eating. So getting the hands and feet of the shrimp while they're doing something is really hard to get those in focus. If they're moving, it's even harder. It's almost impossible because it's something so small. It's moving, at a pretty quick rate. So it's completely out of focus most of the time when running by your camera. The other thing is if you can get them to stay still and right in that edge, you want to make sure you can rock the camera and try and take a couple photos, because one of those will be really good. One of them will be out of focus, and then one of them will be probably okay, more than likely.
Did you answer this?
No.
Okay. Sibley said, can you take shrimp and put it in a small container to help contain the shrimp more? Maybe an acrylic box off of Amazon. You paint the background black, or too much stress on the shrimp to risk it.
Can you go get the Q-tip container?
Yeah, I have no idea where that is. It's in with our fishing stuff.
Oh, I thought
we might have another
one over in the hallway.
I'll go find it.
All right. But short answer is, yeah, we have some good examples of these. Our buddy Ryan Kenley sells a couple different options. We've got a glass one that's probably this big, maybe that tall, but it's only like that wide. So even if you catch like a decent sized sunfish, you can put the fish in there. It can't turn and move around. It really only has one option to just stay in one spot, and it's easy to take that picture. Now with shrimp, you're gonna have to go real super small in order to get that that photo. The other one we have is this little tiny Q-tip container. I don't know why you have to have this little small container for your Q-tips, but it works great for taking photos of like least Achilles fish, bluefin killies, darters, and stuff like that. You can put a couple, like 4 or 5 shrimp in there, and one of them will almost always be in the perfect position to take a shot of. You can be real patient, put one shrimp in there, but it doesn't always mean that he's going to want to face you. A lot of times shrimp, there's like 2 kinds of shrimp. One that wants to see you with both eyes, and they like square up with you, and then the other one that wants to like try and show that it's bigger, and it'll show its side and it'll give you that perfect shot. And then of course there's a third option that's just neither of those options comes in at a diagonal and doesn't even know you're there maybe. So you definitely have a lot more space with this one. Yeah,
I'm
but
taking this outside.
this is the one that would be like perfect for like a sunfish, any kind of cichlid or something like that you want to take
It's
photos
so
of.
thin, so small too.
Yeah. But with this, it's got enough water that you can put the subject in there and not have to worry about them jumping out, perishing, or something like that. It's got a little lid on it. So
You saw this is what I used to take the picture of the bluefin killies the other day. So it's super easy to hold in one hand and still take a photograph, which is really convenient when you're on opposite parts collecting.
The one thing you want to think about though is cross-contamination. This is our inside one, so we never use this for collecting. We have a collecting one that's in the car that we never bring inside for the house. If I were to do a tank that had Cladophora and shoot a bunch of shrimp from that tank, I would then clean this out with a bunch of hydrogen peroxide because it's acrylic. You don't want to use rubbing alcohol.
Found that out the hard way. Yeah.
What's up, Tooth Dog? What do you got to say?
I said, what size millimeter lens do you recommend for the Nikon? The 105 millimeter, is that smaller millimeter better?
So I'm not the person to answer this. We asked a bunch of pros, Chris Lukop, Mo, what ones they used, and they all recommended 105 millimeter. I know we have a 40 and a 60, and it doesn't get the entire shrimp into focus. It's really good at, and I don't know why, but the 105 is just better to get macro shots. But that's what we recommend, just because that's what's recommended to us. I don't have the information to back it up now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We also got recommended to put an extension tube on it, which I could not tell you what that one is either, because we have one that's not supposed to be for our camera.
It's a 50 millimeter extension lens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remembered.
But there's you can do 100 millimeters. So like you recommended we get one a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Back
it
to
is
me.
an awesome box. Stephen P says I have the same glass box from Ryan. Yep. If you ever see Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks, he usually has it at his booth. Like he'll
You
have
might
like
sell
a stack
them online
of them.
too.
Oh yeah, I never look online, so I don't like to shop online. It's so bad. I wait to the shows and then I buy everything.
So then the other thing is the actual phone itself. A lot of people don't know that if you want to get focus on the phone, you can tap. And that little circle right there will be your focus. So if you want to focus on my neck, you can do that. If you want to focus on my goatee or beard or whatever I've got at the time, it's showing a goatee because of the glare. That's going to be your focus. But then if you want to go ahead and lock focus, that right there was one of the biggest tips that I picked up off of Mo while he was here, because my old phone, I didn't really have a problem having the lock on focus. I really just kind of tapped the focus on the camera and then hit the take picture button, and everything was good, and I was able to just jump through photos and try and take as many as I could before the shrimp moved. And then I go through my gallery and I delete all the blurry ones and then try and decide between like 3 photos which one was the best. Sometimes I can't decide, and I'll ask Shelby for her opinion, and she'll see something that I didn't see, or cancel out some of the other shrimp because of it. So with the new phone, however, the phone wants to try and decide what it's taking a photo of, and for whatever reason, it switches to a different camera on the phone, and it selects one that's now trying to take a picture of the substrate or the black frame. So what I've been having to do is trying to get focus on
a shrimp that might be a little bit further away or too close or something like that, but I'll get the focus right on the right camera. And then from there, once it's locked, you just hold it in, lock it in. Then it's just moving the camera, and it's not, that's an over exaggeration. When I'm moving, I'm usually have one finger rested on the glass, and I might be moving it within like a centimeter, trying to get the best focus. Now, to me, that's the equivalent to adjusting the actual focus on a DSLR body, where you have to manually adjust the focus. So just getting in the right range, taking the photo now is all I'm trying to do for the new phone. And it's been working amazing. Sometimes the photos come out crap, but like I said, you take as many photos as you can while the subject is sideways in the right spot, and then you pick out the best ones.
Chevy said the pet store hang on catch containers work good for pictures. We also failed to mention that our breeder boxes also work good for pictures. That's what we have a lot. I love when he takes the pictures in the breeder box, because I can actually use those for thumbnails, because it doesn't have any noise going on. So when you go to use the background remover for editing, it's so much easier. It just, boom, it's out. And I don't have to worry about taking the substrate out or anything like that. It's just been like heaven if I get a picture that's good in there. So, and then to J-Dub Aquatics saying, I need that glass box for Ryan for all my cichlid pictures. Is that available online? So wild fish tanks, he does sell them, but currently he is out of stock, but it's under his wildfishtanks.com and under his collecting gear, because he sells his net, acrylic box, and the glass box as well.
The nets are awesome too. If you don't have yourself a good collecting net, Ryan's got probably the best net out on the market. It's a little bit thicker and a little bit longer than the competition. Why, Shelby?
Never gonna get over it. He needs to make a shirt for it.
So, when taking photos, though, that is basically all I do, except for when you hit zoom in and lock it, not zoom in, I'm sorry. When you click on it to focus and lock it in, you'll be able to control the light exposure a lot easier. It's a little bit difficult when you just try and focus, and then you change it, because when you go to focus on something else, it goes right back to the old light exposure. So another big help with locking in the focus, since I've gotten the new phone like Mo recommended, is I can lock in that light exposure and then take whatever kind of shot I need at that right amount of light coming through. I find that with the ghost bees and some of the orange-eyed shrimp that are a little bit more translucent, lowering the light exposure as low as I can go is like one of the best way to get a good photo. Also, it helps with the crystal shrimp. Any shrimp that's white, really, it kind of removes some of the glare that's coming off of the white LEDs. And still, you have everything in focus for the camera to get the good shot. The other thing I want to say is the 10-time focus, as much as you want it to be able to zoom in 10 times, good luck, that's not going to work. The 3 times focus is good if the shrimp is like maybe 6 inches into the tank. You're not going to be able to get it with a single normal zoom or anything like that. Shelby likes on her phone to use the 0.6. I've never used the 0.6. I'd rather just back off a little, like half centimeter with the normal exposure lens and try and get the shot that way. But like everybody has their own comfort zone. With the 0.6, she's able to hold it up on the glass, get it right and flush with the glass, and get a good shot that way. So,
especially people shaky like me, I really can't hold a camera for very long. Low iron, thank you.
But the one thing you don't want to do is manually zoom and then try and take your photo. Every time you're in the middle, you're going to blur your shot and you're not going to get a good focus. 10 times zoom and you're trying to read a sign or a menu for a food truck or something like that at a red light, yeah, zoom in and open that thing up so you can get whether or not they have bria and queso or that ice cream menu. You never know. But while taking shrimp photos and stuff like that, please don't zoom in. You're gonna ruin your chance of getting a good shot. Play with the different lenses. Your cameras now come with 500 different lenses on the front of it for a reason. So use them wisely. Um, I know there was some. Oh yeah. And then the other thing is the pro modes and stuff like that. I'm sure there's people out there that get better photos with those modes, but I played around with it for a while, and I think I was getting like pretty good shots at first, but then there was certain situations where it was not working out for me, and I'd rather lock my own focus and try and take my light exposure and stuff like that than the AI computer camera thing trying to do it for me. So that's just my opinion. But like, there's a lot of features in the cameras. I don't really play with any of the extra settings to get the shots that we are. This phone is a week old or 2 weeks old now. I haven't done anything right out of the box. I was trying to take it in just normal mode.
Derpson says I shoot video in pro mode, then grab screenshots while editing. I've also shot. What I do is I'll take videos with my phone and then click on it because you take photos while you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the S20 came out, it had an advertisement for it, and the video was a guy going through a safari of a tiger exhibit, and he was able to film the tiger and then press the little lower volume button on the side, and every time he presses it, it also takes a photo. So you can shoot video and take photos at the same time and not have to use your screenshots.
See, First Class Fish says zooming in depends on the camera. Some will be digital zoom and others use optical zooms. So especially nowadays, just depends. So yes, each camera is different. So you do have to know which kind of zoom it is using. But I believe that's in the tech specs of the cameras.
And then like that's pretty much it for all the maintenance and everything that we do for taking photos. Then a lot of it is just being at the right place at the right time. You don't know how many people go out and try and get that perfect photo. They go to a certain location 1,000 times before they get that career shot that they've been going for. It's the same with some of our shrimp. I've got shrimp that I never actually got that good shot of before, it was their 2, 3 years are up. You can get a little stick or a net or something like that and try and coerce the shrimp to stay, but they've got a mind of their own. And sometimes you poke them with the stick and they're like, what did you just do? Sometimes you put the light on top of the tank and you turn it on, and that freaks them out. So I always try to take a photo before I put the light on, then put the light on, and then try and get another shot. But the photo with the light on, with the light off, I'm sorry, is just like proof that the shrimp exists photo. I'm not gonna ever really post that on one of our big social media our small social media pages that we work with just for the business. I'll post that on my own personal page where I'm just trying to share and keep some type of notes for myself because Facebook likes to remind us every year of that date.
Stephen P said, I was late, so did they talk about the clip on macro lens attachments for phones?
No, mainly because I've never had a good one. We've bought in 2 or 3 now, and they've always just not taken better photos than what I can do with the actual phone itself. I think they might happen to help out crappy phones, but they come with 3 different lenses for a reason. And I know there's a macro lens that'll get it closer to like a 105 style, but like they just don't work out. There's not a lot of people that are using the macro clips and getting really great photos. And if you think about the photos that I'm sending out without one, I just think it's more of a hassle and doesn't really work out.
Yeah, it works for his phone. It says, oh my God, microscope mode. He says he got a good video of baby brine shrimp. in action. That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, if you want to recommend and send me a link, I'd love to try it. But so far, I've tried a couple that other people have recommended in some of our shrimp groups, and they just didn't work as well as the phone. But like, each phone is different. So,
Yeah.
back to me.
Yes.
All right. Then I talked about food. Food is great for luring the shrimp out, but the problem is you also lure out all of the shrimp, all of the snails, and like you don't want to taint your photo with a horrible photo bomb with a snail in it. So you definitely want to make sure you go ahead and feed, just a little bit. You don't want to feed too much because the other problem is you've now created a debris field where a bunch of particulates are going to go into the air because shrimp are savages and they don't like to eat their food with manners and forks and knives. They kind of just like throw food at their face, and whatever ends up in their mouth, they eat, and whatever falls on the floor, they eat later. So they're not really too worried about having clean hands or anything after that when they're done. So, and whatever they don't eat, they'll leave for the snails, right? So, yeah, I like the food. Certain foods are a lot better. Snowflake for a long time was our like go-to food.
Did you say in the air?
What? What
did you say in the air with the food?
The particulates go in the air, yeah.
In the water column, you mean?
In the water column.
Nathan got you on that one.
Listen, when you live in the tanks, the water is the air, okay? All right, so, yeah, that threw me all off. Snowflake, it doesn't send a bunch of little particulates up into the water column. What is the worst, though, is going to be the mineral junkie. That just shoots little tiny bits of snow all over the shrimp, and then it sticks to the shrimp, and now they're all covered in like that like weird glitter substance. Like glitter is just not good.
I wanted to bring this up real quick. JW Laconic says Carrick B recommended a macro lens, and I agree with you, Grant. I seem to take better pictures without, but Carrick does take some great pictures with his. Now, this is a broad term, but it seems like every single photographer always has their way of doing things. Like I take pictures different than Grant, and we both get good ones. His is more frequent. I'm just not patient.
Where's the calendar? I want to look at Carrick's photo. I don't know what Carrick's photo qualities look like off the top of my head.
Oh, I see them.
I know he posts a lot of photos, but like he posts more videos, and the videos are what's in my mind, not his photos. So
the calendar's here.
The calendar, though, that's got to be like his best one, right?
Yeah. But everyone has their different ways of using things, and you just got to work with what you have. And whether that means, buying a macro attachment onto yours, or using your camera, using a different light, things like that, using a small container because you can't stand for very long and putting that on a counter and sitting down. Like, we've had to work in so many different positions in order to get pictures. Like, there's days where I need it for the website, and there's no way I'm going to take pictures of fish in a tank and try to get that looking good, a colony picture of fish. So I had to put them in a tiny little acrylic box that we got from a hobby store. Most of them have that, and we spray painted the back of it actually white instead of black. I don't know why we did that, but it worked really well. We do have it did wash out the fish a little bit.
All right, so Mo recommends white instead of black because the black will absorb all the light, where the white will reflect, so you'll get a lot more exposure of the fish, and then you can reduce the aperture and stuff like that. I thought I was almost done with the notes, but I forgot we have Snapseed. But first, we got to get to this. So, the food thing, luring them out. Of course, powdered foods, you want to avoid that. I use a lot of the complete, and it does, after like 30 minutes, get a little bit soft, and then ends up food for all the shrimp. So, if you can lure your shrimp out, take your shots fast before the food gets soft and starts to break apart and becomes a mess. But the other thing is, I see a lot of people will take photos like this, and that's great for like your Instagram post or Facebook post or something like that. But for whatever reason, camera just takes a lot better photos if you're horizontal and trying to take those macro shots. And so all of the shots that we use are all horizontal when holding the phone. There is a couple times where I've had to hold it like this on this side because the shrimp is right here and I can't hold it sideways this way because of where the lens is. So I've had to do it vertical, and I'm just never happy with the quality of shots compared to when I'm holding it horizontal. So I do recommend holding the phone that way. And then I know you guys want to know my secret. Shelby's not here, so I'm going to let you in on my secret. All right. Say you have a shrimp, and it's right there. Oh, you guys can't see that. Anyways, if the shrimp is right there and he's on the move and he's running across the front of the glass, just tap the glass. And the shrimp's going to do one of two things. It's either just going to stay still and be really freaked out and go, if I move, I'm going to be eaten. And that is like one of the best ways to get the shrimp to be still for like 5 seconds, because after 5 seconds, he's going to be like, all right, the coast is clear, and he's going to start running off again. I don't do that to shrimp that are already still and in spot. But if a shrimp is running across the glass, I'm like, whoa, halt. I need you to slow down and take a photo of you. Just good tap of the glass will work great, but there is the possibility you can freak them out and you'll not see that shrimp again that night. So that's my one little secret. I do not recommend tapping the glass at aquariums to take your photos, but if it's your own personal tank, it's worked out great for me on taking photos of shrimp that were just on the move. Stardust, raccoons, Opa Ula. I know I was asked for a picture of Opa Ula. I tried. It's not good enough to post, mimic, but I did produce the green minty steel, not so minty, like we talked about last week in the live stream. We went to that tank the next night and got a photo of it. And to my surprise, that is one of the nicest green shrimp in the house now. It quickly jumped up to one of my favorites. Not the favorite, because I do have a green shrimp, which is particularly a little bit nicer green color in my opinion. But the steel is phenomenal, and I'm going to have to work on that. Even though it's in the coal tank, the coal tank has now become a new tank, and it needs to be cold. So it's going to be a fun project. I'm looking forward to it. I will not deny you the Opa Ula pictures, and I will work more on that as well. You got anything for me? I'm getting dehydrated. I'm talking too much. No, it's all me. So then the next thing is going to be practice makes perfect. Even with all this information, we do have like 9 or 10 years of experience trying to take photos. So it definitely helps knowing when to grab the camera, when, to try and get that perfect shot, where exactly you have to place the camera to get the shrimp in focus. A lot of times, the shrimp, the fish, whatever it might be, it's only going to be in that spot to get the perfect shot for like 2 seconds. And if you're not fast enough to get everything dialed in, you're going to miss that shot. And a lot of it is just practice to be able to lock the phone in, change the light exposure, get to the right focus, and take the shot. So if anything and you're not happy with the quality, just keep taking photos and eventually you get better. I had to use Shelby's phone for like 2 weeks while our insurance was finding a new phone to send us a replacement so I could have my own. And it took some time before I could get used to her phone to take some decent shots that were worth posting. So practice makes perfect.
Nate said, with the S21 Ultra, always jumps from one camera to the other by holding it horizontal too. Yes, that's what ours does. And I've had to come back and forth. That's why I use the 0.6. It seems to work a lot better, and it won't jump on me for some reason. If you put something up like close to the glass, or like next to something, it will do that because it thinks it's trying to focus on that, and that's what happens. So you got to really make sure it's not. The problem is all three of these cameras. If one's trying to focus, one of it's like your focusing camera. I don't know why, but it just seems to jump.
But that's also why I've started locking the zoom in and doing it that way, is because even now with the new phone, and it hasn't happened on the S22 and S21 that Shelby has, or any of the phones in the past. But between the two of us and the way our phones get upgraded, it's every 2 years. So we end up getting every model of Galaxy phone that way. But even with the new phone, it jumps cameras now. So it's definitely, you have to go through and lock it on this one. I don't know what camera down here they think is a better one to try and zoom in on, but maybe I'll try and focus and see what that'll get me in the future. But every time it jumps to that one, I'm always like, no, I almost had the right shot, and I jump back to the other camera. So I still need to practice with this and work with it a little bit more.
David said, I find that I get the best colors in the morning right after lights come on. They seem to have the best colors at the time. Hit or miss if it's the best shrimp and a good spot. I usually see them pretty stressed out in the morning and not their same colors.
Yeah.
It's strange to see. Usually when the lights come on, it actually stresses them out, which is crazy. You have the opposite. We used to have cardinal shrimp, like by the dozens in a tank, and when you turn the light on in the morning, it would be a blue shrimp, and we were like, what, we have blue cardinals? This is crazy. And then like during the day, you'd not see a single one because they had not been stressed out. You move tanks, they'll turn blue.
That's what I call false hope and false coloration. Like, I got asked what we're going to call this shrimp if we can get it to work out. You see it's nice red hue, blue, white, and black, lots of speckling. But I told it was Sam Scales. I was like, I'm going to call that false hope because I know as it grows older and it ages, the red's going to turn black, and it's just going to be like a nice black Galaxy Pinto. So a lot of colorations and stuff like that will look great in the morning, but it's also like a stressed out coloration because it's scared of what's swimming around in the dark. All right. So now we've got Snapseed as our editor. When you put this bright flashing light, I'm not going to turn it on, but when you turn this light on over the shrimp, the super powerful white light bleaches out a lot of the coloration of the shrimp. So what ends up happening is you got to go through and edit it out just a little bit. Of course, the shrimp's not going to always be in the center of your picture and stuff like that. So Snapseed is an app. Everything that we do on the phone. So it's just a Google app right here, and it brings up a little image. And you basically start with any blank photo. There's a lot of tools and different things that you can do to change the photo around. I just like to keep it nice and simple. I'm not trying to do Photoshop. I'm not trying to alter the picture in any real way. All I'm trying to do is reflect how the actual shrimp looks when you're looking at it in a normal video setting. So if you were to have, a good light that didn't wash out all the photo, and you were to see that shrimp on video, you can still prove that that shrimp looks like the same color as the shrimp would in the video. So all the shrimp that we've posted and shared on our Instagram, they're showing their best color, but that's just what they would look like if you were to come and see them in person as well. So I'm not altering anything. I'm not adding on any coloration. I'm just trying to make sure that it's not bleached out by the bright lights on top. So the only tools we really use is the crop and rotate. I'll try and get like the eye of the shrimp to be 1/3 of the picture exactly. Then I try to crop the ground to the bottom of the feet of the shrimp. And then the antennas are super long for any picture. So I end up usually cropping out most of the antenna of the shrimp. And then right to the tail, right to the nose is how we've been cropping all of our photos. Of course, with group colony shots and stuff like that, I would crop it out a little bit differently. But if you're not able to get, the perfect shot of the shrimp, you can rotate and crop it. So that way you can get everything nice and horizontal and level again in your shots for a good post. And then after that, I adjust the details. So this is just one of the options of the tools in the Snapseed. So anybody that wants to download this app, it'll be the main tool options. In the top left-hand corner is basically all that I use. So when you go into details, you have the ability to sharpen your image and adjust the structure, but it's all just like clarity of the image. So what happens is when you crop the image, it's going to lose focus because you're making your original image a little bit bigger. So the program's using AI to just smooth out some of the pixels because you've made the image larger. I don't go crazy with these numbers. I usually stay right between 17 and like 25 when adjusting it. And I don't usually see too much of a big change when using this adjustment. It's just like very slight change, if any at all. And then we go to the Tune Image tab. This is like where the bulk of the editing will be done. We adjust the brightness. So if I wasn't able to adjust the light exposure when taking the photo, I can do this now. Even if you're taking a good shot, you're not going to get that light exposure perfect with that little swivel bar through the actual camera phone that you're using. So Snapseed kind of gives you that ability to go back in and edit that out just a little bit. So especially with like the translucent shrimp and stuff, I find just adjusting the brightness up a little bit will bring out a lot more details inside the shrimp. And then contrast, that's a little bit obvious, but I like to use this with the eye. Sometimes you can increase the contrast, and all it really does is make it black and white. So you just kind of want to adjust this according to what you see is fit for the picture. And then the next one is the most important. It's going to be the biggest influence on your overall picture. But as a seller, as an influencer, whatever you're trying to do when posting your pictures, this is what you have the most respect or responsibility to control. And you need to show self-control because you can easily change a crazy breeding threads displaying cichlid or something like that, and then just crank up the saturation to where it doesn't actually look like that in person. So when adjusting the saturation, I can't stress enough how much you need to be honest with this and not just jack it up to make the shrimp look crazy coloration. So you're really just trying to take out whatever was washed out in coloration from your bright light. And the saturation is the perfect way to do it. Just don't overdo it. Anybody who has ever edited a photo is going to be able to tell if you over saturate a photo. So you're going to look like a fool if you just crank it up to 100 and post every picture. Yeah, they're going to look bright and colorful, but everybody's going to know. They're going to know. And it's not good for advertisement or anything like that. Then ambience. This is going to be the background light. We'll jack down the ambience to like really blacken the background of the shrimp. But say if there's like some nice moss or plants in the background, I'll kind of not adjust that or actually raise that just a little bit. And then you have highlights. This is basically the white coloration in the photo. If you adjust this either direction, you're just increasing the brightness of those colorations. Then you have shadows. That's going to be the opposite. So if you have real dark spots, dark pigmentation, and you lower the shadows on that, you're really going to darken up the picture a lot. And then the warmth, this is just basically the overall exposure to the picture on how the like filter or glow is going to pop through. What I like to do is focus on the color of the substrate. Whatever the actual color is that you see in person is what you should match the warmth of the photo to. And that's how we get the best photos overall edited and take out the white coloration, because this is powerful. It gets all the shrimp in focus, but it does wash out a good bit of the shrimp. That's it for the notes. You got anything else? Nothing in chat? No questions or anything like that? No, nothing at all. So let's talk about the insurance company. So with our house, our insurance company got out of the entire state of Florida. A lot of hurricanes and flooding from storm surge and wind damage and stuff like that. I think storm surge was the big issue, but most of it was with the flooding and stuff. I don't even know what I said. The winds were not as big of an issue as the storm floods, and because of that, the insurance companies were losing money in Florida, and the ones that couldn't get it together just got out. And basically, when our insurance was up for renewal, we found out that our insurance company was one of the ones that got out. So for the last 2.5 months, we've been trying really hard to find a new insurance company. Really, Citizens is the last resort, and we got denied from Citizens. So it's been a real struggle to try and figure out what we're going to do. We're still unsure exactly what's going to happen, but we have had a couple offers on the table from insurance companies now that we have been approved by, and we just signed one of those on Friday, and we hope that our insurance company has maybe possibly signed that today or something like that, and we can move forward with it. It is a little bit more money than what we were already paying, and we were hoping that with the Citizens it was going to go down because our insurance just recently went up $300. So that's kind of been one cost that has been stopping Shelby from quitting her job and doing this full time. It's just extra expenses that we now have to cover in the budget. Then on top of that, we got denied from Citizens that was going to lower that just a little bit, and the company that we now have is going to raise on top of that. So if we get denied from that one through the mortgage company and they don't accept that insurance company, then the forced mortgage will be even $100 a month more than that. It doesn't justify us moving the entire house and finding a new warehouse or something like that to move our operation to. It's just cheap enough to leave all of the tanks in the house. It's more encouragement for us to hopefully put away money, get out of here, maybe get the metal building where we can put all the aquariums in there, double the amount of what we currently have, and hopefully just do that slowly over time and not rush into things like we would have to if we had any higher forced insurance or our mortgage company forced us to move the tanks out. So yeah, Matt says move to Iowa. Never going to happen. It's too cold up there. It's been cold the last 3 days, and then you're going to make fun of us for saying, oh, it's cold in Florida the last 3 days, but it's been cold. Don't want to even get up out of bed, man.
I can't imagine dealing with snow or ice. First Class Fish says it does suck when some people are really good at photography and then people think they're not pics of actual stock. So I would say that this is more geared towards the fact that there are so many people that steal other images offline, and then they'll post those and then send a terrible quality shrimp or fish to the person, and it's just absolutely absurd. And it's not that that's why we don't post really good photos for a lot of things, because they, you know, when you're shipping out 50 plus fish, not all of them are going to look the same. Some are going to be a little bit duller or not as nice sometimes, and same with shrimp. So you don't want to give them false hope. So that's kind of why we put some of the crappier photos on our website instead of giving them nice, oh, this blue diamonds, because it might not be that shade of blue, but it definitely happens way too often in websites. Amazon, big thing. It's the same stock photo for almost every shrimp, and they're coming from different dealers. They're going to look like different shrimp, and you'll get totally different quality in all of the shrimp. And they'll say, this, and they do it for fish, they do it for discus. I mean, there's cichlids. I've seen so many people complaining on the fish pages, and it sucks for people that actually do take good photos. So one thing I would say, if you do have a website and you do take really good photos and you are posting that as what you are selling, make big letters of it. Say like actual fish for sale. Like I've seen those on websites, and I'm like, oh wow, that fish looks really good. And then it helps a lot. Yeah. And half of eBay is using Chris Lukoff's pictures. I know. I think he tries to sue them and gets some money for that, because it happens a lot to Chris Lukoff because of how nice his photos are.
But you can also pay Chris to use copyrights of his shrimp. Like I know Shrimp Farm does that. So.
And then Scuba Steve said that we should really sell mystery boxes.
I wanted to do that. I wanted to even do like a prescription box where you just pay us $50 a month and we send you $50 worth of goods every month, and you basically get a free shipped box. Not free shipped, but like shipping would be included with that $50. So you'd get a deal every month, and maybe we just come up with like a list of things, and you check off 10 things on that list that you'd actually want, and we'd send that regularly.
That's a mystery.
I want to do both.
And Steven P said Skittle bags, which I've been thinking of that. Like it would just be, I was thinking of like Skittle poles of just different colors, because that's super easy for me to go out and catch, and then it helps me in the long run to call out the ponds.
Here's the problem with Skittle bags is they all come from like different tanks, and just trying to acclimate them 3 or 4 different times. It's just, I'd much rather you make your own Skittles, and then they come from one tank and they go into a different tank, and then they never change tanks again unless you want to sell them or move them. But like the least amount of times we have to move shrimp, the better.
Jeff Payne says, Matt, I prefer them move to Wisconsin. They do have some good cheese, I heard. That would be at least tempting enough. Tube Dog says, I think I may have messed up. I overcharged my Caradina tanks to 220 TDS. Will water changes be all that that they need to do to get the tank down? The tanks are being cycled, no shrimp yet.
Yeah, just like I don't know what size the tanks are, but doing a water change with just straight RO water, you can probably figure out what ratio you would need to do to get it down. So like a little bit more than a quarter of the tank, and you should be able to get that down back to 150 to 160 TDS. But it has to be pure RO water.
Res Kid said, in Florida, I caught a bunch of wild shrimp, all evasive wild freshwater shrimp. It is crazy to see how different the behavior of wild shrimp and breeder shrimp are. So I don't believe that the shrimp in Florida are evasive. They're actually native.
Unless they're the Machiabranchium, there are prawns that were farmed that are released in the rivers and stuff. But I'm sure there's also like 3 different varieties of ghost shrimp throughout the United States. Some of them might have been introduced to our waters too, but You'd be surprised. We do have a lot of native shrimp here in Florida.
And I think shrimp will always be welcome. I don't think they could ever be an invasive species just because they would be a source of food for all the fish and not really be a detriment to the plants or wildlife. So we really couldn't ever even call them invasive, could you? I mean, what would be a problem? I mean, most of them are a source of food.
Not
they clean
native,
up.
but I do hear that there are some red cherry shrimp at Silver Springs.
What?
Or
Then they're gonna blame. If there's any shrimp in Florida, we're gonna get blamed for it.
no.
We're gonna get blamed for it. Aquatic Moose said, random question: does moving buried shrimp work like moving gravid guppies, or could that shock the shrimp and cause issues with their eggs?
It can shock the shrimp and cause issues with their eggs. I don't recommend moving around burieds because she can not just like get issues with the eggs and they drop them or anything like that, but she can absorb them too if she finds out that she's not ready to have the eggs or can't hold on to them for whatever reason. I've seen shrimp actually eat their own eggs too. So
Heather says that is what I have right now. Skittles tank. They're interesting. I love the wilds that come out of my Skittles tank, and it's not the first wilds; it's the next ones. And when they mature, wilds come really cool, and they have like backlines sometimes. So, first cost fish says, "What state has the best ice cream? Move there."
so far,
don't
it's
know.
Florida.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. No one's really taken us to like a really good homemade ice cream place
Hold on.
up north yet.
Lady Diane did well. That was good, but you can tell that they were.
Oh, that was a good cupcake. I would say that was
My
good
ice cream
cupcakes,
was
though.
delicious. It was right up my alley. It had white chocolate in it. There was
That
no
ain't gonna eat
ice or anything like that. No, Layla ate all of yours.
Oh, that's what happened.
So
Yeah, that
that-
doesn't help for me.
it just wasn't an ice cream parlor, and it was really good. But it wasn't Tippecanoe quality or Papa Clyde's quality even. So I would say Florida's winning.
Laura said, so Clash is going to have 3 categories of shrimp: Neo, Caridina, and other. I need some for other. I do have Opaula. That would work. I believe that would be considered other. And then what else you got?
Opaula, you could do Sulawesi, and you can do.
The crystal shrimp's doing really good in the tap water still.
Oh,
Might have to put a whole colony down there.
yeah. You could do a Paracaridina, but like this should probably be just Caridina. I think you have a Sulawesi already, so you could do Sulawesi.
Yeah, I would not trust bringing Sulawesi to the show unless someone has the correct minerals. Are you going to bring the minerals?
Bring your own water.
Yeah, I guess you could
If
bring
you
your
live
own
there,
water.
it's not that big of a deal.
First Class Fish says, you guys have some awesome shrimp, but often not much listed on the site. Is it usually just best to inquire?
Yeah. The problem is a lot of our fancier shrimp. There will be people who will see us talk about it on one of the live streams, and almost every Monday night, I have somebody that wants to buy the shrimp. I think last Monday we sold all of the higher grade PRLs that I wanted to sell. I mentioned that they were going to go on the website, and before I could even put them on the website, somebody paid for them. They didn't need to see photos or anything like that. They were just ready to send me money. So that's the case with a lot of shrimp. The orange-eyed blue tigers, I have maybe 10 orange-eyed rusty blue tigers. If anybody wanted some of those, they're $15 a piece. I don't have enough that I feel comfortable putting them on the website, but
Some of the
you know.
fancier shrimp, yes, we won't put on the website because you want to be able to give enough. We've explained that before. Some of them, we don't have hundreds of them in the tank to put them on the website, which that can sell in a few days sometimes. If you put something of high quality on the website, we've had that happen.
We put blue bolts on the website, and within an hour, we had 20 of them sold. So I only wanted to sell 40. So like half of them that we had in stock were sold within the first hour. What did you just do that for?
I have 2 males in my Achilles fish tank. 2 males and 1 female. Not a good ratio for them. I've didn't notice that till I guess one has now matured and is flaring up. So, not good.
They've been dueling. I thought you knew.
No, absolutely. They're going to kill each other. That's what they're. Oh, goodness gracious. David said move near a bluebell factory.
Well, I heard there's one in Texas that has a tour that you can take and you can try flavors that aren't even on there yet. So I feel like I'm just going to have a job by the time I'm out of there because I'm going to be telling them exactly what to do.
Texas is also a great place. I think my family would be really, really disappointed in me if I moved to Texas because then they would all have to move to Texas. Freaky fish lady said, "Are trumpet snails any harm to shrimp?"
No, not at all. They are the only like snail that I find acceptable for Caridina and Neocaridina tanks. I mean, ram's horns are great for Neocaridina too. All snails are okay, but like you don't really want to look at them, do you? So trumpet snails, they do their job. They're great. And then rabbit snails are great for Sulase tanks, and mainly because they only produce one ugly critter at a time, like once a month, rather than clusters of hideous beings that are just going to flood your tank and not really do anything other than be a great cleanup crew and leave a slime for your shrimp to eat off of, but they're hideous.
Almost all snails are good for shrimp. They don't cause harm to shrimp unless they're already sick and dying. So I recommend snails. I enjoy snails a lot, especially ram's horns, like pink ram's horns. They're so cute. But yeah, I like the trumpet snails. They dig into the substrate and help clean it out. Matt said, Grant, did you see Rico eat a pint of pickle flavored ice cream the other day? He said it was good. Would you try it? No,
I would try it if it was the only thing available.
You have tried pickle. I forgot. When we went to, where was that?
It was Italian and shaved ice.
It was shaved ice?
It was shaved
Jaden,
ice.
we ended up convincing Jaden to
No, the
try
kids
it.
wanted to.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that was their idea. They wanted to try it, so we got a little sample of it, gave it to the kids, and they weren't having it. It was probably just ice with pickle juice, like just straight up. And no, I'm not a big fan of pickles, but like I'm a fan of ice cream, so I'd like try it, but like I don't think I'd eat the whole pint probably. I don't know.
And I love pickles, and I don't think I could eat like a whole thing of pickle ice cream. I guess it depends on the quality of the ice cream and how much it tastes like pickles and how much it tastes like ice cream, I guess. First Class Fish says, oh, we have a few here. And Gelato want to move to Cleveland. No. You guys are crazy dealing with all that snow and like ice on your windshield. I love watching all the videos from my phone in Florida on TikTok.
You guys have put more work into scraping ice off of your cars than I have done to my entire yard the entire year. Not this year, last year.
Penn State Creamery ice cream.
It sounds legit. I heard they got a good wrestling team, but I've never heard or known them for their ice cream. Well, I guess I just did, huh?
Sibley said...
You have 32 more minutes before you can do that.
Sibley said if you're limited to 10 strains, not many more tanks of shrimp, and have shadows that produced blue bolts, would have one tank for each, combine into one tank, or keep one and eliminate one?
I would probably keep them both together and use the tank for something else, because if I'm limited to just 10 tanks, I'm probably keeping all the Taiwan bees together in one tank. Red, black, blue. I'll keep the Shadow Pandas. I'll keep the extreme blue bolts and the extreme red and black King Kongs, and then probably sell out everything else. And that's doable because Taiwan bees are all the same genetics. There's just different colors and patterns with them. You could also keep crystal shrimp in that same tank too if you wanted for some Michelins.
Jesse said, I got a good ice cream place near me, but you never close to me, even at the Clash. It's still 2 hours away. That is the thing. Like almost all the events, they're like so far. It's so weird. We have some events that are like right dab smack in towns, but like all of the food around there is like so fancy. It's like I'd rather not. I'd rather go to a food truck down the road than go to some of these places because it's just overpriced microwaved food. Like that's how bad it is. So but then you get 2 hours away, you'll have like the best ice cream place in the middle of nowhere, you know? It's honestly it's a conundrum.
Yeah, I see the problem. I forgot Celosa or Caridina. I don't know why I thought there are like different subspecies, but yeah, you're right.
No, she said
Opaula.
the cardinal silhouettes.
No, they're Caridina. They're also a Caridina species.
I guess, yeah.
So
And Dirksen said, "Did you just say there are red cherry shrimp in the Silver Springs? Did Alex mention chasing the genetics? He shot a video there."
maybe it was Alex that said it. I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, "Yeah, I was." It's definitely shrimp that somebody else released there. They're not like wild type shrimp.
Thank you so much, Garcia, for the 99 super sticker. Had to do it.
How's it going, man?
Not say it.
You've been busy, man. Every time I turn on YouTube, you're on there.
Yeah. I lost my spot. Thank you so
They're
much,
right there.
Garcia.
Right there.
Oh, okay. And then Chevy's Fish said, "So the buried shrimp I see in shows are deliberately being stressed out by their owners placing them in the shows."
What?
So there's a lot of buried shrimp in the contest. So most of the time they don't try to send buried ones.
No, they do.
But they are the healthiest and the biggest. So they might have a surplus of those shrimp. So it might not matter too much, but usually you don't lose them. Even with the stress, it can happen. But most of the time, we've had a lot of shrimp actually give birth in the tanks. And then we had one of our lovely helpers, Michelle, got a pipette and collected all the babies to put in a bag. I couldn't believe it. That's insane. But yes, they are the biggest, the nicest of the shrimp, and it could stress them out.
And if it was a tie between two groups of shrimp and this group had all burieds and this one didn't, you'd give the winner to the one that had all buried because technically they would have the healthier shrimp. But like with the people that enter the show, I don't think they're deliberately like trying to stress out the shrimp. I just think they're trying to give themselves the best possible chance. And we've had a lot of people send in shrimp that, you know, the eggs will hatch during the contest. We do our best to catch them all. It's just not possible to catch them all. And then we also go through and send the shrimp back. And we've had people who've gotten the shrimp back perfectly buried and still holding. Sometimes, though, they absorb the shrimp, shipping them to us or shipping them back. But the more you move the shrimp, the more chances you have of them absorbing the eggs or losing them.
Rez Kid said, "I have always been interested in having a brackish shrimp tank, only familiar with raising freshwater. How complex would a brackish shrimp tank be, raising Opaula, for example?"
It's probably the easiest aquarium you can possibly set up when it comes to like keeping shrimp and having to mix salts. So Neocaridina, you can set it up without having to mix salts, obviously easier. But if you're in a situation where you have to mix salts no matter what, then Opaula is just going to be like probably the easiest of all the options. You get a bucket of RO water. You can also use tap water too. You're just not going to use as much salt. And then you dump in salt. You get a little hydrometer.
Mine's for light.
And the cheap ones are little float ones where the lever will float to the right level of salinity that you have. That's all we use. We don't have this. I think that's what you're trying to say. The salt rock. I don't know.
Hydrometer.
The refractometer. The refractometer.
See, that's what I said. I think that's for light.
No.
I think it's a hydrometer.
Where's Gina when you need her?
Saltwater
So,
problems.
Just the cheap ones you can get from Petco are good, and we add enough salt into the bucket to raise the salinity up to 1.007. That is not just a James Bond reference. That is the actual level of salinity that we mix our Opaula to. And then we legit don't do water changes on the shrimp, but we sell enough of them that the water level dips down probably every 3 to 4 months now, and we have to make a new 5-gallon bucket of water and fill the tank back up. So a little sponge filter, a little bit of gravel. I recommend a crushed coral or crushed lava rock just because that's where they come from. Tiny little porous holes, lots of growth of biofilm and whatnot will happen there. Some limestone or a branch to keep it fancy. But yeah, they are easy to take care of. They're a 2-stage shrimp that you can actually breed in one tank. It's cool.
Welcome in, Sam.
They are a little bit smaller though than your average Neocaridina caridina shrimp.
Travis said Ohio has one of the first ice cream parlors, so whoever had the Ohio comment, you are okay in my book. And they live in South Florida now.
See, when we went to Pennsylvania, it was like all Hershey's ice cream. Like you couldn't find like a good place that wasn't Hershey's ice cream. So Ohio might be far enough that they're out of the Hershey's turf war.
Big C. Steve said, I was Googling Sulawesi shrimp. Have you ever seen the Harlequin Sulawesi? Yes, we used to have the Harlequins at one point. The problem was there's still imports. A lot of people are still struggling with the Harlequins. And I would say, what's the other one that was really cool?
The yellow cheeky.
White orchids.
The white orchids. We got those to breed,
Love
though,
those.
no problem.
Yeah, we got them to breed, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah. I think we underfed them, and the rabbit snails ate them. So this can definitely be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the yellow cheeky ones if we were to get a different one.
Those are really cool. But if I was to really spend some money on this shrimp, there is the blue.
The blue ghost.
Yeah.
Or the orange eyes are cool
Sulawesi
too.
shrimp.
But
Scale said Sulawesi shrimp probably need their own genius. They should have. They have completely different water parameters. To name them a caridina is so weird to me. They even are shaped different. Like cardinal Sulawesis are completely different than caridina shrimp. Like the way they, obviously they breed the same, but the shape of them is different. Like they are definitely different. Their paws are different. Like to say that a mantis shrimp
arch in their back, where none of the Neocaridina or Caridina have the arch.
Right, but it's like saying a mantis shrimp and a pistol shrimp are the same in saltwater. It's weird to me that they're not their own genius by now. Not only that, the water parameters, I think they do like different. Like I said, we usually algae out our rocks for Sulawesi. They just seem to do a lot better when you have a lot of source for food in that tank.
You could also source out some Bovoltes. Those are not a Caridina shrimp. Maybe they are. I don't know what is a normal Caridina shrimp. Maybe we need to split the clash into like, oh man, there's too many types of Caridina that are actually breedable. Yeah. Cross-breedable Caridina shrimp and non-cross-breedable Caridina shrimp. Boom, problem solved.
Lysine, I hope I said that right. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Said morning. Your live. Good morning. Where are you at?
Maybe wait, South Africa.
So your live streams.
Congratulations, Duplessis, your champion. Right, okay. Sorry.
Oh, there. Live streams always same day and time. I need to set my alarm for future streams, mainly due to time difference. Yeah, that 5:30. How are you even up? Thank you for joining us. I feel honored. 5:30 in the morning. I am the crankiest person in the world.
We do them every Monday. We are an hour and 40 minutes into our live stream. So we start at 4 a.m. your time.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Thank you for joining us. Abstract said, would you ever carry a Mexican dwarf crayfish? Maybe again. Maybe one day.
I think our water is just too soft for those out of the tap water, and it's just a little bit more effort than what we have to put into those. I would love to keep some outside or in the garage, whether or not, we can keep the garage a little bit more temperature controlled next year. Hey, it's a wee bit cold in there, laddies.
Grant, our Obaula hypersaline, and then he said, "I'll send you a refractometer." So that's what it's called. Yeah, we have one.
I don't know what hypersaline means, man. Jeez, you're asking me all these
Something
questions.
salty.
I don't. They don't have a hyper mode as far as I know.
Laura said, "Needs some. Send me those simple grass shrimp used for bait." Yeah, love those grass shrimp.
Hey,
There's so many.
We might not have them available up on the website yet, but I do feel like there's enough people that are asking us for them that will probably sell like a 10 pack of them for like $20. I know it's like $2 a shrimp still, but to go to an area to catch them where there isn't a lot of parasites in the water, we have to go pretty far. Like around us, all of the ghost shrimp have these weird, like, I don't know what they're called. It looks like an egg sac is growing on the side of them, but it's like not a leech, but something very similar. Not a lymphid either. I can't remember what they're called now.
What?
The little parasites that are on the shrimp.
Oh,
they're all over the Wikiwachi River. Say that 10 times fast.
Sibley said, "Was watching Secret History Tour of your place. Do you still have the shrimp from Finland, Hummel? Did you have a better idea of what they are? Were you able to get them to hybridize?"
So they are the raccoon. I mean, not the raccoon.
Way
the
to go.
Hummel tiger shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem was the language barrier. And I don't think that he was trying to tell me that they were from Finland anymore. But I think that the seller was selling them out of what he thought was Finland, but I think he was wrong, and it's Poland, because Shelby did a little research on her own and found a Polish seller that was selling them as Hummel shrimp. They look exactly the same as our colony, and we were unable to crossbreed them still to this day. I still have one living with the not orange eye yellow king kongs, just the normal yellow king kongs, and no different weird shrimp has come out of there except for yellow king kongs. I might throw in another female of a different type of shrimp into the Hummels in the future, like a raccoon or something like that. But I'd much rather prefer to get the Hummels breeding a little bit better before I try crossbreeding them again. I'm just not comfortable knowing that we might be the only ones stateside that have them.
Robert Downey Jr., welcome in, says you're going to have any shadow pandas available anytime soon.
Who was it that I was just talking to about shadow pandas? I think I promised them the Toop Dog. And Toop Dog, I'm sorry I never got back to your message. But things are a lot easier for me. Between the last live stream and now, I was getting like no sleep, not eating properly and stuff like that. And I was just really stressed out. But now I kind of see a light at the end of the tunnel with this whole insurance thing. So please, anybody that's been waiting on a response or waiting for me to do anything at all that you've asked nicely of me in the last 2.5 months, I will get to it this week. Just send me a reminder. If you did not ask nicely, though, that wasn't for you. You can wait still.
Turkey Hill Ice Cream Factory in Pennsylvania that you can tour.
But
we'll have to find that. Turkey Hill.
Back to the shadow pandas. I'm so sorry. Yeah. If Toop Dog doesn't take them, I have like 10 I can sell that are already available. If he does take them, I have babies. They just need to grow up a little bit.
Scale said, Shelby and Grant, come out to Fishtoberfest and let's go to Tillamook Ice Cream. So I wrote down Fishtoberfest because I don't know when it is. We always miss it for the past 2 years, and we've been wanting to go. So,
or Kenny, if you're listening and you still have the ability for us to go to your show, please message me. I have our whole schedule, and I can figure that out if we can make it.
Passing Wind said, when I was a kid, my neighbor was one of the owners of D Sona Ice Cream. He always had a freezer full, and all the kids in the neighborhood would come by, and he'd give them free ice cream. Like, Grant would have been in heaven, and he'd probably be like 300 pounds. Easily.
I was already a big kid.
Heather said, "What was the purple and white/blue shrimp? You've seen it on the tour of your tanks."
That was probably the Hummel shrimp that we were just talking about. If not those, then the raccoons are kind of similar, but it was probably the Hummels.
Or were you actually seeing one of the American shrimp contests? Because that's the one that reminds me of purple, white, and blue. Specifically, the white and blue bars.
But we
with the
do
purple.
also, we have some of Crypt Keeper's purple Nanashi that have the blue stripes.
Those weren't there
But-
during our tour, though.
I bet you they're the Hummel.
Silhouettes, they are closer to marine shrimps in their structure.
Yeah,
it seems
well, I
like
think
it.
that's because where they're from was all salt water, and then the island kind of filled in, and what was a like saltwater lagoon became a freshwater lake over many, many years.
Welcome in, Skipper. Boots and Cats said, "What type was that green one?"
So that is the minty green steel. It is a hybridized tangerine tiger with Taiwan bee. But we've been breeding those for 12 generations, like 7 or 8 years now, to try and get those to come out. Green was one of the original goals to that project, but not this color green. Like it's worked out really nicely with this project.
Scales of hypersilene is more salty than ocean water.
No.
This is
saltwater.
less. This is just a brackish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 0.0007? Maybe.
Did you not see our Opal Ula tank? You were like sitting right like 2 feet away from it the whole time you were here.
I think
'Cause
you-
you said Mufasa still sells them on the site. I think Opal Ula.
I think my salinity measurement might be missing a decimal point, so he thought that they were more salty than the ocean. I don't know. I'm not the salty guy. I just know that there's a little measurement on the thing, and I go to the
The bar.
007. It's just marked gold member. Honestly, that's all I see when I go to that one.
That's gracious. Matt did get the 1 gallon today. Finally, it says I need Caradina shrimp ideas for it. No, absolutely not. You could get Neo Caradina if you're gonna get Caradina. No.
You could
No.
pick like some
No.
derpy snail and put it in there and call it a net, and then just every time she makes you mad, just get like a picture of me holding like a paintball gun. I have them
What's wrong
on
with you?
there, and just show it to a
You're
net.
so weird. No, but Neo Caradina would be great for that tank.
For one single snail.
Now I'm behind on reading everything.
We were already behind. It's okay.
Sam says, Grant, I need your help on the TGOE video I'm doing. Need names for all the shrimp photos and videos I have of your place.
Yeah, about that. What happened to tomorrow? I'll be releasing the TGOE video, and then it
He
was an
decided it would
Ohio
be
Fish
better.
Rescue video.
If he had all the names and everything of the shrimp.
I think I can help you though. I think I might know the answers to your questions.
Good luck getting help. He doesn't help me. Just kidding.
You're not supposed to let them know. It makes me look bad.
He literally wrote a whole list last time so that I could type out all of them in order. He didn't want. I'm just messing with him.
If you haven't watched our video that we just posted, by the way, we did the new rack with a lot of new shrimp.
We completely forgot about the rack too, because it's already been there and it's just now just like
It's been part of the house.
Yeah.
I'm not even like weirded out by how we have to walk into the house with the extra wall there.
It definitely hits you
I'm
in the
used to
face
it.
when you walk in now. But Sibley says, I know you preach snails. What are good options for Caradina tanks to also sell a little profit, possibly? Only Malaysian trumpet snails?
The problem with the Caradina water is it melts a lot of other snails. So the Malaysian trumpets are the only suckers that are honestly hardy enough overall to grow to full size, not melt the snails and show defects on the shells. Yeah, Malaysian trumpet snails are probably it. Sorry.
Oh, this is why we never go to Fishtoberfest. Is usually it's too close to, like, there's always several shows in October and it's too close to Halloween. We do have children, so that's why I choose to not go and stress
There's-
ourselves out right before Halloween.
There's also Keystone Clash in October and
Yeah.
another show at
That's
the end
what
of
happens.
October. So, yeah.
Coro said, Grant, do you prefer pie chunks or cheesecake chunks in your ice cream? Assume he doesn't like pie. Assume the same fruit and quality of vanilla base. Which one would you choose?
Probably if I had to choose cheesecake, but like not
Pie from
everybody has
Pennsylvania was
cheesecake, and pie is delicious too. So,
You don't really like pies. Like, you generally don't eat pies.
All
Unless
right,
they're
so-
good from Pennsylvania, then he devoured that pie in a
no,
minute.
where did we go that it was in
Pennsylvania.
Orlando that had the blueberry pie ice cream or whatever that I had, the triple berry pie. That was good.
Oh, that was a weird place in Orlando.
Yeah.
What? Was that Orlando?
Mm-hmm.
Salt? I don't remember.
But
Oh, thank you so much, First Class Fish, for the $1.99 super chat. Says thanks for all the sharing of such good info.
This
that
is
was
Mimic?
a struggle. No,
this isn't Mimic.
no.
I swear this is Mimic's
Is it?
icon. Did you pull a name change on us, Mimic, or is
No,
this
First Class Fish has always been
somebody
here.
else?
You're really bad with the chat. You
I'm
never read
sorry.
chat. Thank you so much.
Where's
First Class
Mimic?
Fish.
Has Mimic not been here all night? You're asking
think so.
very mimicky questions tonight. You're mimicking Mimic.
Lysine says, your opinion on feeding shrimp freezer bloodworms or similar?
So it's fine. I know it's full of protein, and the shrimp like it. I know a few breeders that they believe in the whole your shrimp are going to slow down on breeding in the wintertime, and when it starts to warm up, they think that the bloodworms helps their shrimp get back into the breeding mood and start going again. But bloodworms, when you buy them, it's a lot of water in those cubes, not a lot of worms, so we don't deal with those too much.
Kid, it was confirmed that one of the species I caught in Florida was Indian whisker. What? Are they naturally aggressive? Are they their own species of shrimp? I don't know. I've never heard of
So I don't know what the difference is between the Indian whisker shrimp and the ghost or grass shrimp that we catch throughout everything. I've never heard of
Find
them.
out. Now, that person keeps their opalula at hypersaline of 1.035.
See, I'm almost like more convinced to like try and keep the Opaola less and less salinity to try and just get them to eventually breed in tap water. I think there's like a few people that are convinced that can happen. I haven't even tried yet.
I mean, it really depends if they absolutely knew like what the salinity was of where these opalula come from in Hawaii in the cave. What is it?
It's not in the cave. It's in little world tidal pools.
Yeah.
In the tidal
So,
zones.
I doubt that they would be that salty. And then Matt said that I'm salty.
You're
Just
salty?
a little bit.
Or
I'm
me?
eating a shrimp.
Oh.
Travis said the kiwis you posted on Instagram, just wow.
Thank you.
Love them. They're really cool. It's funny because Layla knows exactly which ones are Grant's favorite shrimp, and she always goes to that tank. It's pretty cute.
They're in her room, so if the house is ever set on fire, I just go to that room and then grab the tank.
I'm a little concerned on the fact that the tangerine tigers did not fare well. So doing Caridina, if you set up the tank right in the parameters, then almost any Caridina you want will work in that tank. But they are more finicky and their fluctuations can't be too much. So a smaller tanks can have a lot more fluctuations with parameters, and that's why you always want to do bigger, better. So I would say Neos because they can take a large variety of fluctuations and still breed and survive and thrive.
And what tank were in the tangerine tigers? If you can't keep tangerine tigers alive, you're not going to keep anything else alive, Matt. That's why I said Matt. One snail.
Yeah,
But
and
Matt or Sam, maybe I thought it was in the next video you were going to post then, if you said next week. It's hard for me to read.
Cora said MTS live in all my water parameters so far. Yeah, I don't know.
They're
single
absolute
tank
tanks.
in the ridiculous.
I like it when they're floating on the surface, and then I just grab them with the net, and then I sprinkle them into other tanks.
Laura from LJ Shrimp, member for 15 months. Thank you so much. Says 12-month membership print. Yes, we have them. Did you send us an email on thegardenofeater@gmail.com? Your address. We will be shipping those out.
Sam said that they were on the way.
Yeah, we're still
I
waiting
still
for
haven't
some.
gotten them, Sam.
Yeah.
So
Little,
as soon as we get those from Sam, we'll be able to send them out.
thank you so much, Gary. And then I wonder how mystery snails taste. Probably terrible.
Probably like escargot. You don't know until you try it. Like
Yes.
escargot.
Sam said, "Yeah, you're right. Opaulas are, and I can't pronounce that, brackish water near the ocean shoreline, and they are Halocaridina rubra."
Yeah.
I found that out not that long ago. I always forget what they are. We don't know most of the Latin names because most people use common names in the shrimp community. We don't usually use Latin names, so it's a big difference. And yeah, that person has it at 1.0035 to 1.010, which is crazy. That's a lot of salt, I believe. David said, need an honest answer considering I'm from Houston. Bluebell or Blue Bunny? Oh, Bluebell.
Yeah.
Blue Bunny was like out of Florida stores for so long because they had a really bad, what was it, salmonella?
No, I think that was Bluebell.
No, it was Blue Bunny because I
think
never
they both
eat Blue
had-
Bunny.
They've both
No,
had
Bluebell
they
was.
both had salmonella then, because I know Bluebell for a fact had salmonella issues.
I remember
at
it's
one
a
time.
Blue Bunny because I was like, oh, we don't eat that.
But
anyways.
yeah, no,
I'm not a big Blue Bunny.
Blue Bunny came out with those like little tiny miniature like strawberry shortcake cones or whatever, and it's just not good quality ice cream.
I don't
It's like the
remember-
cheap gimmicky stuff. If you want good ice cream, Bluebell's probably one of the better options out of the grocery store.
Yeah, the Blue Bunny, I don't know what it is about their plastic containers to me it just makes me ick. Like everyone else has the nice carton. I don't know what it is about their containers, but I just look at it and it grosses me out and I don't want it. And I thought it gets the worst freezer burn. I think that's what it is. The plastic container is the freezer burn.
I think it gets the most freezer burn if there's more water content than the actual.
Jeff Kane, member for 20 months. At this rate, by the time we get this thing out, he'll need the next 12-month membership. So we're going to have to start thinking of that. I didn't think that anyone was at 20 months. Thank you so much.
Him and somebody else is at 20.
Yeah.
I think somebody might be a little bit further than him. Can't remember who it is now.
Passing Wood said, I made a buffalo mince meat pie last week. It was great. Buffalo mint? Is that literally buffalo meat?
Or buffalo sauce.
Buffalo sauce.
That's what Shelby's
mince meat.
asking. I think it's buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. I've never had buffalo meat, but there's people that eat it. I don't know.
Fun
I
fact,
already forgot that. I was looking up Indian whisker shrimp.
our call to rush the other team in paintball was buffalo.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Whisker shrimp. Ugh. Those are cool.
So like, it's
They
hard
look
to.
the same.
They look like the same shrimp that we can get up here too. So
That one looks different. It's got little claws on it. Oh, look at the claws.
but
I don't know if anyone's ever taken enough care into these because, I mean, when you look it up, there's just so many pictures that are off. Like, yeah, Machiobranchium. I've caught these before with their little pinchers. Any shrimp with pinchers,
the
they're jerks.
Machiobranchium ones
They will rip each other apart, by the way.
more than likely come from Peru.
Yeah.
Or
Which that
the
looks just
Amazon.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a species of Machiobranchium that get way bigger than ghost shrimp. Yeah, so we've had the Machiobranchium, which those look so small in this picture, which is weird. But yeah, we've had those in a tank. They need a lot of hiding spot and need to be fed quite a bit. There's something that would definitely need to be fed, like bloodworms and things like that, bigger stuff, just like a crayfish almost. It's found in Nepal. That's cool. Grab the kids first, Grant. For what?
The kids can run on their own. I'm grabbing the tank that can't run on its own. The
For
fire.
what?
I said at the fire. If there's a fire, I run and grab that tank.
What tank?
The kiwis.
I wasn't listening. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The kids would be out of the house. Grant would be coming back in for that tank specifically.
The dogs, the kids. I almost said birds, but we don't have birds. But everything else, I think, would be fine. I'm grabbing the kiwis.
Craig's at a membership for 12 months. Maybe, was he one of the ones that would get a t-shirt? Would he be able to get it up from...
Yeah,
so maybe I can wrap it up real nice and put it in the middle of it.
Yeah, so Craig, all right, this is something we should talk about. We have Nick Mann coming from Keeping Fish Simple all the way from Australia, coming to speak for our club. He's also coming to film our house for a couple of days. So we will be able to give him, and he said today that he'll take the shirts back with him to Australia. So I don't know how far away you are from his place or not. If it's too far, I'll throw him some money to ship it to you. But if if anybody else that is in Australia would also like a t-shirt or they're a 12-month member, please let us know so that way we can send it over with Nick.
Sibley said, if I own raccoons, stardust, tangerine tigers, and yellow King Kongs, and hopefully auroras, would it be a good idea to get a tank of tap water going after getting a good colony at Caradina parameters for profit?
Yeah and no. Like, it depends on who you ask, and some people will say that they breed just as well in the tap water parameters and stuff like that, but I honestly think that you get so much more breeding out of them being in a Caradina. If you're limited for space and you can only have so many tanks, I would just set them up in Caradina parameters. The demand for them is so high that people are not going to wait around to find them in Neo-Caradina parameters. They're going to find them and then acclimate them over themselves if that's what they want.
Matt said tangerines were in a 10-gallon, same as the other shrimp I've gotten from you. I don't remember exactly what I did anymore to set up the tank. I think I took it from 250 TDS tank to dilute it to 125-ish.
Well, that's probably why. 250 would have been way
low.
Better than 125.
Yeah,
so.
You could slowly, gradually drop it down to like 200 is...
220 is where I like to think is the best number for them. But if you're at 250, just keep it at 250.
See, Blue Bunny is in my area. Another reason not to move there. See, Stephen P. said Bluebell had listeria. Bluebell? Not Blue Bunny? What?
I'm telling you,
Gross.
Bluebell
No,
had a recall on.
He
prefers
a while
listeria,
ago. Stephen. It was so long ago. It was good. It was good, though. It was bad. They were off the shelves forever. That's when, that we had the white chocolate one for, what was it, white chocolate mango or something? Blue Bunny had salmonella. Okay, that makes sense. See, where's listeria come from? I don't even know what that... I know there's salmonella. I won't even buy romaine or anything with romaine lettuce in the state of Florida because of how many times it has been recalled for salmonella. And almost every chain restaurant uses romaine for their salads and I can't do it. Matt said, member for 17 months. I was a member on the first night it was available. Thank you so much, Matt. Mayfield Dairy Farms ice cream. Oh, they're not. I think those aren't that bad. Is that yellow brand? Mayfield? I don't know.
See, I do believe, though, that Bluebell also had salmonella outbreak, but it was back before the internet was pretty big. That was something I remember as a kid, back in 20. Yeah. Oh no.
Oh,
never
bison.
Mind. The listeria outbreak was in 2010, so that's probably what it was. But I swear it was salmonella. I was wrong.
Well,
sorry, Bluebell. Don't sue me.
I also want chocolate after today's stream. Me, I want more pickles, and I already brushed my teeth. I'm not going to eat anymore. um, Heather Green said, "Is there any way to pre-order shrimps for Aquamania?" What's our? Are we going to Aquamania?
Aquamania is in
the North
March.
Carolina one.
Yes.
Yeah.
January, February, March. It is 2 months away. Yes, if you would like to pre-order for them, you can make the order on the website and say hold for the show, and then we can refund your shipping. Or if you qualify for reshipping, we just hook you up with extras when we have to bring it to the show. So we can absolutely do that. Yeah.
Carrie said, "Used to nothing but Neos. My transition to Caridina should be orange-eyed blue tigers. I'll have to remineralize RO. My water is very hard. Best advice."
So tangerine tigers are going to be your best bet. Orange-eyed blue tigers, I think, are like one of the harder tiger shrimp to breed. Raccoons, yellow King Kong, Stardust, those are other good options. But tangerine tigers are the best if you're looking for your first step and transition into them. They can even tolerate your harder tap water. You'd be surprised. They fare fairly well as long as the temperature doesn't get too hot.
Yeah,
That's their only downside
the
to
black,
Neos.
The black tiger orange eyes though don't do well in tap water, but the
Yeah,
crystal shrimp seem to be doing okay.
But like
Still,
breeding and
don't
living
comment
is a
about that.
different,
Yeah.
story. So
Big difference. Big difference. You can keep fish alive in just about anything, but are you going to breed them? Zen said, member for 20 months. Thank you so much.
I think
Just
it's Zen.
4 more months to 2 years.
I think Zen might be a week ahead of Jeff or something like that, to where she might be able to do 21 months before him.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe both did at the same time. I thought somebody was like a month ahead of Jeff. Maybe not.
It's Craig's birthday. Happy birthday, Craig!
What? Happy birthday.
Thank you for joining us on your day of birth. Amano shrimp are also what? When is Nick coming?
So Nick will be here. His flight gets in on the 9th of February, and then he'll be here for 4 days. We're going up to Lucas Brett's house. He's doing a talk for a club, and then he'll be filming here for 2 days. And we're on the phone today trying to plan it all out so he can get to everything.
Nuts, and I don't think I ever canceled TGOE. Grant, did you make me mad?
What?
Because he's behind Zen on membership.
Oh.
Shady said, "Are pumpkin shrimp Neocaridina or Caridina shrimp?"
They're Neocaridina. At least for now, until somebody comes out with a Caridina named Pumpkin. It'll happen soon enough. This Halloween. Mark my words.
David said, "I love going through the Bluebell tour. You get a free cup at the end, and they have a shop with all the flavors. You see the whole process."
Yeah, see,
That's
I'm gonna have to do that. But I heard there's flavors available there that aren't available in the stores. Is that not true, or is that just a myth and a legend? And I'm gonna have my heart broken.
Have a good night, Saints Dust.
I'm all about them weird flavors. Not weird, but like
rare.
Yeah.
Like weird.
Seasonal.
Yeah.
Seasonal really gets me.
We did have that white chocolate mango one or something. Remember it was a Bluebell one, and it was super good.
White chocolate, macadamia nut, but it wasn't mango, it was pineapple. But it was like a white chocolate pina colada, and it was good. It was good.
Sam said, "I prefer Breyers over any other store brand."
Breyers is like the standard when it comes to store brand food. I will put Bluebell up just a tad bit better than Breyers, but like the next best after Bluebell is like Haagen-Dazs, but like you can't even compare Haagen-Dazs because it's in the small little containers. So it's not going to get a proper grade when you're trying to do best bang for your buck.
3 people died from the Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? And 10
I
people
remember.
got sick.
I remember. It was traumatizing. I was only like 18.
That's crazy. When you think of it, though, they literally said it like they sold 8 million containers that year.
Yeah.
Like to
So
only
some
have
people are
3
just weak.
people. Stop.
I probably ate mad containers that year. But anyways, I can't consider Haagen-Dazs as being like a legit buy at a grocery store because for the same price, I can go to Papa Clyde's or a local creamery and get like better ice cream than Haagen-Dazs. So I'll admit Haagen-Dazs has some crazy flavors. So they do have a couple that tickle my fancy from time to time. But it's like hard. It's hard to pay that price when you can get something better locally. We're gonna have to do an ice cream channel. This is a lot of ice cream content.
Yes. That's funny. Now I gotta read though, because I was looking up. I swear it's a different flavor of white chocolate. I want a list of all the ice creams that they've ever made because you don't get to see them. And when you look up ice creams, they only show you the ones that are in stock now or like recently. So David said they'll have some seasonal available and limited flavors at the shop at the end. Depends on ingredient availability.
All right.
Thank you, Stephen, for being at 17 months and 0 days, but it won't let you use the membership. I don't know why it doesn't let people do that. It's only like once in a while that they can do it. I guess it's. So
I think it's
spam.
once a month, and maybe you used it on one of the last live streams because we're through the month.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like when you sign up after that time period. It's every month.
Carrie said, Nick bringing some big buffet, trying to get the food here in the U.S. What's the word? I know LRB has him coming by to Bluebell is the way to go. I don't
So
think he can
he
bring
said
anything
he
over.
was sending me some food. So I don't know if that's on the way or what exactly it is. But if that's the food that he's trying to send me, maybe he's trying to get it here in the U.S. So I'll be honest.
Like fish food? Or real
I don't
food?
know.
Like
I don't know. I don't know about this
that,
food.
Like snacks.com or whatever it is.
I kind of told Nick today that I don't watch a lot of YouTube. The only real videos of his I've watched are the ones that Richard has sent me. So I don't know a lot of what he's got going on. But the videos that Richard sent me were shrimp related. So the kids get in my books.
Cora said Haagen-Dazs or versus Ben and Jerry's.
So I think Haagen-Dazs has more of my flavors, and that's why I choose Haagen-Dazs over Ben and Jerry's.
I choose Ben and Jerry's. But that's the thing. We have two different flavors.
Haagen-Dazs has the white chocolate truffle raspberry. It's hard to beat, and they also have a better mango than Ben and Jerry's. So it's like if I'm going for tiny containers of ice cream that are overly priced, I get what I want. And Ben and Jerry's is just lacking the flavor combination combos that I like.
I love Ben and Jerry's. They have like a cookie dough that's really good. It makes me super sick.
It's hard not to do good on cookie dough, you know what I mean? But that's
it really is
though.
I've literally had the worst. It's all about the vanilla and it's actually about the cookie dough. Like I've had some that are just off of vanilla where it's like watered down. It kind of tastes like ice, and then you have cookie dough that's not good.
It is.
It's not.
It's hard. It's hard.
I've had a lot of brands that failed me on the cookie dough. Like I'm sorry to say, but I don't like Breyer's cookie dough. It's not that good. I've had too many good ones. Sam said Chipotle had some salmonella. It's very common. It's not good. Breyer's Napoleon stirred up in a creamery makes the best. My grandmother used to always buy us the I can't even say it right, but I would always stir it up and make it into like a little soup. And
I just think it's funny that Sam likes Napoleon.
Why did you say it like that?
Napoleon's short. Sam's short. It's a funny convenience.
I think you're supposed to say it a different way than Napoleon. I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe
It's
that's
the
not
ice
Neapolitan.
Cream, it's the
Neapolitan. Neapolitan.
I feel like it's two different things.
Damn, I'm just an idiot. I'm sorry, Sam. Forget what I said.
Okay, Socorro says instead of the cardboard containers that get thrown away, they get brought back and re-washed. That's pretty cool. They still freak me out for some reason.
All right, is that gonna be it? We could talk about ice cream all night, but I'm just
I'm
gonna
not
get
even close to
hungrier.
the end of the chat. That's
Really?
the problem. Kayla, thank you so much, member for 7 months. Is there a TGOE ice cream line in the works?
No, but this local ice cream place has got me upset enough that I want to pull out the ice cream maker that we have. Maybe we should make small batches of ice cream and sell them when we go to the shows. I think that'd be a hit.
It's just Sam's idea of turtles. You guys are salmonella resistant. Yeah, it only worked that way. David said, I got some Yellow King Kong Aurora Cross a while back. Have you tried to breed out the white stripes they get to get pinto patterns? I have a plan to try next month when my tanks finish cycling.
Yeah, but the problem is like the Auroras with the Yellow King Kong. Did you see the outcome of that? Because they make like green tigers. They don't have a lot of white to them at all. So
That's awesome. Sorry.
I don't know where you got your white stripes from. You had to cross something else maybe, but yeah, that's how you make green tigers. There's not a lot of white to them at all.
Sam said it's Neapolitan versus Napoleon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I get it now. I knew that was right too. I don't know why. I'm so out of it. I made dinner tonight and forgot all about rice. I was like, go get the kids ready. Never mind, don't do it. I have to make rice still. I'm not out of it, or I'm that out of it.
Bishop, said, I need a glass box of something for V-Day. Did fish last year. This year she gets shrimp suggestions.
Red cherries are always popular around Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
It really helps out at the Florida State Fair, I think, when you enter the red shrimp, especially that time of the year.
Apparently, he has his own bug buffet. That's what I was wondering. I want some, but he can't import to the USA. By the way, my shrimp, all loving shrimp and seafood sold. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know what foods he's got working on. So I'll ask him about it though when he's here. Oh, he'll be on the live stream with us. So if his talk is on the 10th, then the 13th is our live stream, and he'll be on it that Monday night with us. So
what's the ideal male to female ratio for Neocardinas?
I prefer like one male for like every 5 females, but it could easily be like 2 males to every 30 females too. But I definitely don't want it like 1-to-1 ratio. So the better, the lower you can get the males to females is better. But you want at least 2 good studs in there.
And last thing before we go, David said they were from you, only been by themselves, though if you maintain the white stripes, turn semi-green/orange.
Yeah, I guess I'd have to see a picture of them, but
send a picture.
Our Yellow King Kongs have a little bit of white pigmentation to them from a mutation, and it's like spotting on their face, but it's certainly not white stripes at all. But I'd love to see pictures.
All right. Thank you so much. I lost train of thought what I was doing.
No
Saying
worries.
good night.
We are working on a video. A lot of people want to know how we are building our tank stands, and I'm hoping that we can start building Shelby's fish room this week. And if that's the case, then we will be filming every step of the process, and I'm going to explain every idiotic move that I make while building it. And my only proof in the process is all the aquariums stands that we've already built haven't fallen yet. So you guys want to know how we build them, we're going to share that with you guys on the next video. Hopefully we can get to it before the next live stream. So if not, we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.